evening, Leroy. How are you?
Good. How are you doing?
Not too bad. It's been a busy week. We've had games. I guess this is the first night I haven't had a game in a while. I guess after not having any games, I've gone 2 games on Sunday for Center, game Monday, game Tuesday, and so on. And then obviously it's podcast night. Nothing tomorrow, and then Friday, Saturday. It's a busy couple of weeks. I know our boys team. They finally played their first basketball game in 17 days. And luckily I was able to go back and I had my stat already. And I was so excited that it was the longest stretch in the month of January without playing 17 days since 1977.
Holy cow.
And what's interesting is the coach of that team still comes to all of these games. And I saw him beforehand and I was like, hey, I said, I just want to make sure that I'm right on this. Like, do you remember 1977? And he goes, and it was like, memory. Yes. He goes, there was snow, like, and it was funny. It was like 3 feet deep. It was like we had to, they were hiring bulldozers to bulldoze us out. And it was really funny for this. And it was kind of funny hearing that. But luckily, we're finally back into it. John asks, as a Bengals fan, are you cheering for the Ravens, the Chiefs? And as a Bears fan, are you cheering for the Lions or the 49ers? We'll have our picks later on, and we'll talk more about each one of these games. Do we want to save that question until we talk about the games then?
I'm going to save it.
We'll save it and talk about who we're going to be cheering for. We
were supposed to have our senior night on Monday. It got rescheduled already once, and we had ice storms that came through the area. All of Central Illinois.
I saw that.
Were ice. So
the game wasn't the fire truck video like somewhat in? Was it St. Louis or something?
St. Louis. Yeah.
Did you see that?
Yeah, swinging all the way around as it came. Big old thing.
Props to. Can you imagine being the driver of that?
No, because I know we struggled. We struggled even. I mean, trying to walk to the gas station next door was. I joked I should have brought my ice skates because it was covered, and everything was covered in ice. So we ended up having that game canceled. So I sat at home and I watched the newer Elvis movie that got recently released in 2022. I liked it. It was a good movie. I didn't know what to do with myself. I never get a night off. You mean
you could have watched the Cougs and you watched Elvis instead?
I could have.
You know who's watched multiple of your? I've had nights off. I've watched your games.
I kept up with what the score was.
Did you know?
No.
Gonna say, don't even lie to me.
I totally forgot you guys were playing. Otherwise, I absolutely would have. I totally forgot you guys were playing.
To recap our pick contest from last week, it's a big moment last week too. For the first time in this year's pick contest. No.
Oh, okay.
One of us got 100%. 5 out of 5.
As you.
And it was you.
Oh. Well, look at that.
Leroy, you correctly predicted the Cougs to beat Apollo last night, and they did. You correctly predicted the Ravens, Chiefs, 49ers, and Lions. I went with the Bills, and then I went with Taylorville to beat Highland, which from my math and my research says did not happen.
Correct. Highland won.
So because of that, you won.
Taylorville blew a 15-point lead.
Oh, so that's the reason why. So you won 5-3 that week. The overall total is 122 to 108 with 3 weeks remaining in the pick contest series. So
and
John says,
say, I'm a little distracted tonight. Our arch rival, Northwestern's playing the Illini, so I am glancing to my computer to be watching Northwestern play Illini. So I am a little distracted this evening, Sam.
Excuses.
Yeah, because
if you were truly dedicated to this pod, you would. Last week, I missed the second half of the Kentucky game to host this podcast.
Who are they playing?
Mississippi State. Big conference game.
Okay.
Big conference game. Listen.
Okay.
Listen. Yep. Listen. The fans are with you. They're against you. They're on team like me right here.
Hey, guess what I don't care about?
We've got a good show planned talking about NFL championship weekend. We've got the AFC championship, the NFC championship. We'll talk about that. There's a new head coach in the NFL. We'll talk about that. Leroy is reaching in. Is that a Red Bull or is that a Bud Light?
That's absolutely. What do we got today? We got a Bud Light Platinum. That's what we got today. Oh, listen, Paul, you know I care about you.
You don't care, according to John. I see how it is. That's the way you treat our fan base. Is that you say, Daniel pops in, right? Logo's out, right?
Oh,
logo's
right
out.
In time, Dan. Right in time, buddy. Cheers.
Logo's out. Logo's out. Logo's
That's
out.
right.
We got it here. Logo's out, right? Let's see the hashtags dropping in there. But also the big news from the week was MLB Hall of Fame was released, and then we kind of turns the table to start talking about the 2025 potential Hall of Fame class, which is it's also wild to read some of those names and be like, oh, it's been that long since you've retired already.
I know.
So we'll talk about those.
You missed it, but 5 guys from junior hockey from Canada also are in trouble for sexual assault. So that happened today as well.
That's
World Junior. So those guys got removed from their teams. They're on was it indefinite leave? Isn't that right, John? They're on indefinite leave from their teams until this whole situation gets taken care of.
Paul's an instigator over here. He's an instigator. He's trying to start it off. Of course, then we're also going to have our Leroy's Logos segment. We are going to have a drivers, I assume.
Sam's drivers.
We're going to have play clock. We are going to have plenty of things to go.
Great show. We're excited.
I thought about taking time to tell the story about how my neighbor had somebody get arrested at his house across the street the other day. But the long story short with it, I really just want to leave this. I'm sitting eating lunch on my couch, and all of a sudden I hear people yelling outside. So I do what any neighbor would do is, do the peeking through, peeking through the blinds. And my neighbor is yelling at somebody from outside his house. He's yelling it through his kitchen window. And his kitchen window is not very big. It's one of those little small ones. And it finally quiets down, and then it gets really loud. And next thing I know, my neighbor swan dives outside his kitchen window, and they start yelling at each other in their front yard. And then the police show up and everything.
I am here for it.
It was just I'm this is the most entertaining thing that I've seen in a while. So it's
I love it.
It's interesting, but we won't dive more. That's really all of the story. It's not why they were fighting. I don't even know why, but.
We live next to a meth house of sorts, and the couple is getting evicted. And every 2 weeks, we either have they lit a fire in their backyard a couple weeks ago, and they're only allowed to burn on certain days. So the fire department had to come out there and put the fire out. Every 2 weeks, either the police or the fire are out there. They had a trailer park out there, a trailer in their yard. And one guy lived in the trailer, and he would come out. She'd yell out the door and bark stuff. So we'd be on the morning show. You'd be like, and you're listening to Groovy 97.3 W.
Is this at the radio station?
Yes, right next to the radio station. Yeah.
That's great. That's great.
The yelling over the air as it was.
That's fantastic. We had one guy, and this is funny. I've been working at our radio station for probably 3 weeks. It had been new. In the first month or two, I remember, and I was sitting in my office at the old station, and my office was right across the hall from the main studio. And it was our morning show, and my boss left during the morning show, which is an hour-long talk show that they do. He left, and he never leaves the studio during the show. It's the first time I'd ever seen him leave. Usually once he gets in his chair, he's there. He's not going to leave. And I'm like, that's a little weird. Next thing I know, he walks back in, and he has a pistol in his hand. And I'm like, what is happening now? But there was a man across the street who had parked at the cemetery and was yelling at us because he thought we were the FAA, and there was a drone that was flying over his house. So Mark told the police officer, Mark is my boss, to then have him email what he wanted to talk to him about. And the first part of this email, I wish I still had it, was, "I'm sorry for yelling at your radio station." It was just it's the funniest thing, but this is not where I expected this podcast to go to open it up, but gotta love neighborlies, right?
Yeah, we're here. You watch any of the football that went on this weekend?
We want to talk about that now, or we want to talk about Hall of Fame?
Oh, it's your choice. 50-50? Flip the coin. Hold on, I got the coin. Coin. All right.
So what is it? Heads is MLB, tails is NFL.
Tails for NFL.
Heads for MLB.
All right. Here we go.
Okay.
I got no space. Hold on. It's like heads.
So that's MLB. Okay.
Yep.
Hall of Fame was introduced. Todd Helton, Adrian Beltre, and Joe Mauer.
That's right. Told you he was getting in. Let's go.
Inducted into the Hall of Fame on, I guess it was Monday evening.
Yeah.
I'm happy that Todd Helton got in. I like Todd Helton a lot. He seems like he's a good dude. He deserves it, I think.
I know your feelings on Mauer, but what do you think about Beltre?
Yeah, Beltre deserved it. I think what's always interesting when this comes up is the whole argument of, well, he shouldn't have been a first ballot. And I'm not saying that with Beltre, but more just in general of all of these. And that's just what I always find really interesting with the Hall of Fame inductions and the votes is, aren't you a Hall of Famer regardless of whether it's your first time or not? Do you get what I'm saying with that? Why does it matter if it's your second vote? And why is it, Chase hasn't been on our show here in, 2 or 3 months. And right, of course, when it's something Twins related, he pops in here, it's like Bloody Mary.
A radio or something on us. No, you know what? And the thing is,
you get what I'm saying with that?
I absolutely see where you're coming from. I think their thought process is more, yes, you deserved it, but you didn't deserve it as much as somebody else, right? I mean, that's their thought process is, yeah, you deserve to get in, but you don't deserve to get in as much as you're not at the top tier of the Hall of Fame. I guess if we're thinking about tiers of it, right? Like Babe Ruth is one tier and Harold Baines is in another one, But no, I don't know. There was a few shockers. I was very upset Gary Sheffield didn't get in. Look, Gary Sheffield was awesome. I'm a little bit older. I remember watching Gary very often. I had a lot of his baseball cards. Gary was the man.
Oh yeah, I have memories of Gary. Oh yeah.
Yep. Bat waggle, everything, man. When he came up to the bat, you thought he was going to get hit. It wasn't one of those things, and his defense was pretty great as well. He was fantastic. So really disappointed to see that he didn't get in. Billy Wagner was also. Billy just missed. I'm really
5 votes.
Yeah, 5. I'm really, really hoping that next year is it for him. I mean, Billy was scary.
The Astros.
Billy was a scary, and when the Astros were in the division with the Cubs, and listen, it was one of those things where when Billy came in, you knew the game was over. Billy was just too good. So I was kind of disappointed that he didn't get in as well. And we've talked at great length about the steroid boys and whether they belong in or not. But, it's one of those things where at the end of the day, I think for the most part, they got it right.
I found this interesting here. Lance McAllister is a radio personality in Cincinnati. And he had an interesting post last night. And I haven't brought this up to you, Leroy, but I'm interested into how you feel about this. He says that it's his yearly crusade to overhaul the voting process for the MLB Hall of Fame.
Okay.
And I found it very interesting when I was reading this. I guess he posts this every year, but if he does, I'd never remembered reading it until today, but it made a lot of sense. And he has 5 points here. His first one, he says, times have changed. Why is it that just newspaper writers get to vote? And his kind of his second point is think about some of the individuals who don't get to vote in this process. Guys like Marty Brennaman, Bob Costas, Bob Uecker, Pat Hughes, John Sterling, Ken Harrelson, Tom Hamilton, John Miller.
You know who I think should have a vote, honestly? Some of the social media guys. John Boy should absolutely get a vote as far as that goes. I mean, listen,
and it's interesting.
Ain't nobody watch more baseball than that man does right there.
Yeah, and I found it interesting. He said, how about we split it up? And I liked this here. And this was just his change here. So 45% of the vote is 10-year members of the baseball writers. Okay, that's fine. 45% is broadcasters, executives, and historians. Yep. So that could be like in your John Boy. 9% are current Hall of Famers.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Yep.
And this is the interesting one. 1% online fan voting, which I find interesting.
That number better stay small. 1%.
Yeah. And I agree with that. And then he also asks, should there be a limit on the amount that a writer can vote for? Why can you only vote for 10? What if there are 11 or 12? As he brings up the point, says, you're either a Hall of Famer or you're not. The number of available spots should not dictate a player's standing. It was just some of these that I read, and I was like,
and I don't think voting is fine the way that it is. Listen, Ken Griffey Jr.
Why was he not unanimous?
Ken Griffey should have been a unanimous Hall of Famer. But we can't do that. We have to be difficult and not pick. And somebody had to not vote for him because it's the way that the Hall of Fame is we don't do unanimous on the first one, which makes zero sense whatsoever. Because if I grabbed 100 people on the street right now, I guarantee 100 of them would say that Ken Griffey Jr. belongs to the Hall of Fame.
If he wouldn't have gotten hurt, he'd be the home run king.
So it's one of those things where I do think the system needs to change. Now, listen, there are plenty of good people that are voting, but I've seen some of the votes that have come out for the Hall of Fame. And some of those guys, I really would like to know how they came to those picks of who they picked.
Should they be able to keep them secret? Because when you fill out the ballot, you have the choice of whether that you can keep it an anonymous ballot. Should that be revoked? Should you, if you vote, be automatically have to be shown?
I'm split on that. I am super split on it. Part of me wants to no. You vote, it's released to the public, so I can crucify you for your picks. But part of me is also very much like, no, that's their. I get it. But the more
you're going to be pro early voting next up, and you're going to get the Dominion machines in here, right? And you're going to demand a recount and everything, right? I kind of agree with John here. You vote, you show.
Baseball is one of those very. Yeah, he got lucky.
It's interesting, and that's why. But I mean, in all seriousness, I think the point of guys like Marty Brennaman, Bob Costas, Pat Hughes, Bob Uecker, those guys have watched more baseball games than just about anybody.
I saw somebody. Dale Murphy's kid was arguing about how he wasn't taking away votes for Joe Mauer, but that Don Mattingly Murphy had a better career than Mauer did, and I find it interesting that Dale Murphy's career got cut short, or Mauer's career got cut short by injuries. Murphy played through those injuries, and because he played through those injuries, his career kind of suffered for it. He didn't play as well. And it's interesting because both Murphy and Mattingly, I think, belong in the Hall of Fame as well, as far as just the numbers that they put up. And I don't think there's necessarily a perfect system for making this work, but I think we have a better system than what is there right now. I think there's a better system than what there is right now. And it's one of those things where at some point we need to accept that the game has changed. And if we accept that the game has changed, we need to accept that the way that we pick the Hall of Fame should be changed. Because how does the NFL do it?
They do the finalists, and then you get a certain amount of votes for that as well. But then they do player, Hall of Famers get a vote, but they do a veteran category with that as well, where they do a veterans committee.
Yeah,
with it. But Chase says that's why the MLB Hall of Fame is the best amongst all the other sports. It's the most exclusive and thus the most lucrative. And listen, I don't disagree with that either. I don't know. I don't know. How about speaking of Hall of Fame though, Leroy? The 2025, some of the first year eligible guys. And let's go really quick here.
Okay.
Yes or no? Yes or no? Because
Okay.
we'll do this again in 9 months or whatever when the actual ballot comes out. We'll probably dive deeper into this.
Yep.
But yes or no? Russell Martin.
No.
Adam Jones.
No.
No. Very good career, though. I mean, he had that stretch there with the Orioles where he was really good. I do agree here with John. It's not the Hall of Very Good. Is he even the Hall of Very Good?
Yeah.
Is he just the Hall of Good? Is he very good?
Yeah, I would put him in the very good category.
Melky Cabrera.
No.
No. Ben Zobrist.
Cubs, yes. Hall of Fame, no.
Troy Tulowitzki.
Now I need to go back and look at Troy's numbers because Troy played for Colorado most of his career, right?
Correct, and then he went to the Blue Jays.
Yeah. I'm going to go no on Troy.
He was one of those that he only played 13 seasons. Career 290 hitter though.
How many hits did he have?
Let's see here. He had 1,400, which is not a lot. 225 home runs. And I kind of agree with what Paul and Chase are saying here. The injuries caught up to him there.
Yeah. And
Hanley
he runs into the same situation as Wright for the Mets. David Wright. Would have been a fantastic player if injuries didn't derail his career.
Hanley Ramirez.
No.
Dustin Pedroia.
Hall of Very Good.
Yeah, I agree. Hall of Very Good. Ian Kinsler.
No.
I agree with no. Probably Hall of Very Good, though. Felix Hernandez. Okay, Paul's saying yes. Paul, are you saying yes to Kinsler or Pedroia? I'm interested here. So I think it's to Pedroia saying yes to. I'm curious, Paul, on who you're saying yes to. Is it to Pedroia or is it to Kinsler? Felix Hernandez.
Yes.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. He's saying it to Pedroia.
Yeah,
okay.
Pedroia. They compared Troy Tulowitzki to Francisco Lindor, Xander Bogaerts, and Marcus Semien. But as far as his Hall of Fame stats go, they're not close to what his career WAR is. 44.5, and he's 35 on the Hall of Fame scale out of 50. So no chance on that one.
I agree with Felix Hernandez, though.
100%.
I mean, he had that stretch there of about 5 or 6 years where he was best pitcher in the game.
Yeah.
Curtis Granderson.
Oh, great guy, but no.
CC Sabathia.
Yes, but not right away.
Should there be a difference?
Yes, and no, not right away.
Ichiro? Is that Ichiro? Ichiro's if Ichiro's not a unanimous, then again, it proves that there's something wrong.
Yeah. Ichiro said yes, 100%. I vote Ichiro in. Yes.
Yeah, Ichiro, to me, on this list.
There's not a more clear-cut candidate on that list than Ichiro.
Ichiro is a lock. I think probably, if you're tiering this, I think tier 1 is Ichiro. I think he's all alone on tier 1.
Felix is right underneath him.
And tier 2, and then the question are Sabathia and Pedroia like their own tier of tier 3? Yeah. And then everyone else pretty much?
Everyone else. Yeah. Yeah.
John asks, if Shohei doesn't ever pitch again due to his injury, is he a Hall of Famer, not a baseball guy? I think it all depends on what he does with his bat. I mean, if he retired today, no, he's not a Hall of Famer. If he retires
today, no. If he retires today, no. But listen, let's be real. There's nobody else that has done what he has done, what Shohei's done. And so if he comes back as a pitcher, fantastic. If he stays as a hitter, listen, we all know how dangerous he is with the bat. If he keeps up that career for even another 3 to 5 years of hitting well, and with only playing DH, oh my goodness, yeah. I mean, I'm not too worried about what he can do with the bat. There's a good chance he'll get in. But if he retired today, absolutely not.
Yeah, I agree with that completely. But it's always fun to do that first look at 2025. I'm excited to see Ichiro's speech, like when he gets in, going in as a Mariner and so on. I think that'll be really fun. Really fun to look at.
And both Ichiro and Felix going in as Mariners.
That's right. I didn't even put 2 and 2 together there. And they very well could be the only two. It could be a Seattle day,
Avery Cooper will go nuts if that's the case.
Well, that's what I'm thinking. Have you been to Cooperstown?
I have not.
I haven't either.
It's on my bucket
I haven't
list.
either. Paul,
I've been to the NFL. I've been to the NFL Hall of Fame.
And I've never been to Canton. I've never been to Canton either.
That was amazing.
Paul, have you been to Cooperstown? I would imagine you have, but then again, it's not like, I think Chase has been. I think we've had that conversation before that he's been to Cooperstown, but I know that Cooperstown's not necessarily a place that like.
It's way out of the way.
Yeah. Like it's not like some place.
I wish it was more of a central location. I get why it's there, but it's so out of the way.
Yeah, it's not like it's, hey, let's go to New York City and let's stop by Cooperstown on the way.
Let's see how long of a drive. Let's see how long of a drive it is for me. How many hours do you think it is away from Central Illinois?
Oh gosh, 12.
I bet it's like 16. I bet it's like 16. Hold on. 12. It is 14 hours and 10 minutes away.
So in between us, pretty much. Let's see what it is here from my house here.
So, Bert, I have been to the United States Hockey Hall of Fame, which is up in Virginia, Minnesota. Pretty freaking cool.
Where's the Hockey Hall of Fame?
Canada, right? Let me see.
Paul's never been to any Hall of Fames. It's 12 and a half hours to me
Toronto.
to Cooperstown.
Toronto.
That would make sense there. Toronto, Bert just writes in and says that as well. Yeah, but I think when I know I've always said, though, that I want my first trip to Cooperstown to hopefully be when Joey Votto gets in.
Yeah.
Because I think that'd be really fun.
As long as we're talking about Hall of Famers, Ryan Sandberg was diagnosed with prostate cancer this week. And metastatic, which means it's spread. So our prayers are with Rhino. That was my guy. Rhino was my Joey Votto. He my favorite ball player. I had all of his cards. I have an autographed Ryan Sandberg card, and I hope he gets well soon.
Amen. Jim Harbaugh. It's like an odd transition. What a transition here. I'm like, well, see, this is where this is in our industry where we take a break. Like traditionally on air, it'd be like a great commercial break. Then we come back and we can, yep. Let's see. Do I have a,
do you have a good laxative?
Okay. See, Dan is our sales rep, and he's been doing all these comments, but Daniel hasn't been able to get us a single sponsorship. He's been doing all of his hashtags, but he doesn't do anything. Oh, we're doing our job, Dan.
That's right. We have sold out.
Logos out, but yet.
Oh no!
But yes,
it will still underperform. Listen, I don't think Harbaugh will be able to replicate in the NFL what he's able to do in. Also, how soon does he get? Yeah, I mean, all right. So how does this
show
work
calls
now?
Or something?
Yeah, how does this work now if this happens?
I think for one that the Chargers had to make a hire like that. I think they had to. They've got the young quarterback, Herbert, and I think we're going to learn now, is Herbert legit? Because I think a lot of people are very much on the fence about him. I think he's really good. And it'll be interesting to see how he turns out with that. And I think it's a pretty good fit. But again, it just turns in, the AFC just keeps on loading. I mean,
also, why does Jim Harbaugh look exactly like Jack? Oh my gosh. Yeah. Jack and Jim look exactly alike.
And then Brock Purdy looks just like him too.
Brock Purdy.
Because that was on this that we talked about a couple of weeks ago with Brock Purdy, right? That he looks exactly like a Harbaugh. I mean, I think it's a good hire for them because, like Bert says here, Harbaugh wins
Chicago,
wherever he goes. Well, he wasn't the head coach, though.
No, but he said he wins everywhere he goes, and that ain't true. He didn't take Chicago to any Super Bowl that I know of.
No, he did not. Cursed. That's why cursed. Right?
I'm really interested to see, because let's face it, there haven't been too many guys that have been able to pull off the college to NFL move. Pete Carroll.
But in his defense, he's been in the NFL before and went to a Super Bowl.
Right. 49ers, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
Because he coached the Super Bowl in 2012 against John.
Yep.
And then the lights shut off halfway through the game.
Yeah. See, Paul knows.
Yeah,
Paul knows.
Curse.
But yeah, I'm really interested to see how he does with this move. Michigan fans, well, Bert, you're a big you live in Michigan. What is the pulse today in Michigan radio? I'm sure they're thrilled about this move, even though this was telecast a mile away. But I mean, I'm really interested to see how he does with the Chargers, because what do the Chargers have? So they got Herbert. Who else is on it? They got Ertz, right?
No, Ertz signed with Ertz signed with the Antonio Gates. No, gosh, I don't know who their tight end is off the top of my head. I mean, they have Keenan Allen. Austin Eckler is a free agent.
That's what I was talking. That's what I was thinking.
But he's a free agent, so that'll be interesting there. They're very old. That's the one downside to them. It's like Mike Williams, getting up there in age. Keenan Allen getting up there in age. Yeah, Ertz is with the Lions. That's who it is that he signed with to their practice squad. It'll be interesting. It just adds, though, to the AFC arms race that all of these teams keep on loading up and doing this. And it'll be interesting to see how it goes along. Gerald Everett is their tight end. Yeah, I don't know that I would have been able to tell you.
Thanks, Paul.
I'm sorry, I'm not an expert on the Chargers. Since the Bengals didn't play the Chargers, it's been a couple of years since they played the Chargers. I don't keep up.
I can ask any question, and I know what the knowledge is in this chat.
Paul,
answers taken care of.
Leroy and I actually knew the answer. We were just seeing if you did.
Testing you guys.
Yeah. See, you should see our list of show prep we have. We have this sheet over here that's got all the answers to everything we're talking about.
Yeah, it's called Google.
And pretty much. Our show prep is, what do you want to talk about? Oh, yeah, that sounds good. Let's do that next week. Like next week, we're going to talk a lot about Pro Bowls, All-Star games, and so on. Like the Pro Bowls next week. NHL made changes as well. That'll be interesting. And then, well, so that's interesting because the NFL Pro Bowl is the next day, or Pro Bowl games or whatever it is. So that'll be a good conversation for next week to talk a lot about. See, we used to do Google Sheets, but somebody would never look at it. So,
you dick.
Language. This is a family show. Why are we dropping language? I didn't say it was you.
Caleb.
I didn't say it was you.
It was Caleb.
Yeah, it was Caleb. It was Caleb. Yeah, Pro Bowl, flag football, whatever we want to call it.
We both have our own separate sheets. Like Sam has one that he keeps track of, like all of the standings and everything. And then I have a sheet with all of
which you have access to.
You're right. And then I have a sheet with all the drivers, and then like all my questions for Sam that I ask in our play clock.
Yeah, see, so I have a spreadsheet here with our pick contest stats that Leroy has access to, and then I have Leroy's logos that he does not have access to because I have future weeks listed on, but it's not like the stats necessarily matter for that. As far as championship games go, I know that earlier on in the show, I think it was John asks who we are cheering for.
Yes.
In the NFC, let's go Lions, 100%. Let's go Lions.
Listen, I lived in Michigan from 1991 to 1994. Every Thanksgiving, we'd go over to my grandparents' house, where we would put up this is going to age me, but we'd put up the satellite and we'd try to get the antenna to like, okay, you got to stand over a little bit to the left. Oh, nope, now don't move. Don't move. You got the signal, don't move. So we could watch the Lions play the Bears on Thanksgiving. I love the Lions, man. I know we're not allowed to like our NFC North teams, and the only NFC North team that I hate is Green Bay. So I am rooting for the Lions hardcore. Hope they are able to pick up a win against the 49ers. And I'm really, really excited for that game. Listen, we knew coming into the season that this was a very good Detroit team, but could they get over their own demons of winning in the playoffs? Because we all know the playoffs are a very different beast than playing in the regular season. And so far, Detroit's been able to do that. If they can stay healthy, they'll be all right.
Ravens Chiefs.
I know, Paul. I know it. A little bit to the left, a little bit to the no, don't move. Don't move.
Mm-hmm.
You got
well, see, I've got this little radio. It's a little like clock one that I have that I use to monitor stations here. And it's got one of these little tiny antennas. So see it? Like it's just this little guy. But because of that, it has to, it's hilarious. I have to like every morning, like finagle it as well. If I'm being honest, I cannot, I mean, I think the Ravens are the better team.
The Ravens,
they should win.
Team. The Ravens are the better team, but
who am I cheering for?
Taylor Swift.
Who am I cheering for? It's like picking, do I want a kick in the nuts or a kick in the teeth?
You want a kick in the nuts.
Like I think the Ravens will win. It will be one of those games that I will be cheering for. I want madness to happen. Taylor Swift versus Eminem Super Bowl with Usher.
If the Chiefs win, the amount of hashtag rigged that pops up on Twitter will be insane.
It's hard to bet against Mahomes. Christy's cheering for the Chiefs. Why are you cheering for the Chiefs? Is she a Taylor Swift fan?
You know why Christy's cheering for the Chiefs.
Does she like Kelsey? That's right. I forgot that. Ugh. Well, no, I'm not a Swiftie, she says. Well, there's nothing wrong with being a Swiftie.
Yeah, Sam's favorite song is
Shake It Off?
Shake It Off.
That is interesting, though. Forrest did that. So the ref for the Ravens Chiefs game has the highest road team win percentage in the playoffs of any ref.
And where's the game at?
Ravens. So Kansas City's the road team, which is I like Kelsey and okay. I didn't see the colon there, Christy, and got a little worried there because I thought you were saying something completely else with that comment. Do you see what I'm saying, Leroy? I was like, whoa, okay, what are you looking at? I didn't see the colon at first. It's like, whoa, this podcast just took a turn. The colon. The colon is the a colon is the ... thing on the screen.
Yeah, Bert, I'll message you and let you know what it actually said. what you thought it said.
That's right. It's Bert from Canada. He probably doesn't. My wife is
from Michigan, so he's got that Detroit education going.
Oh, well, that explains everything, right? Speaking of education, how about Leroy's logos? Everyone's favorite segment to see how Leroy can continue his education with this.
Jason was so nice, man. He let that little girl go up and show her sign to Taylor and everything. He had a fantastic. Love it.
Never played. I've got 3 college logos. Leroy's got to tell me what it is. I would hope that you weren't going to say that you can't stand your wife, Paul. That would probably make the show a little bit awkward. I got 3 logos. Leroy's got to tell me where they are and what the school is. It's easy enough. I don't know what that is, but
it's a little snowman.
Oh, okay.
It's my lucky snowman.
Oh, it's your lucky snowman. So let's see if that brings you luck. Leroy hitting 395 on the year. 395, including you playing really well recently. In the last 12, you have gotten 7. 7 of your last 12.
We're excited.
So you're playing pretty well right now. So let's see how you will do today. Would you like 1, 2, or 3 in today's episode of Leroy's Logos? Number 1.
What is that?
What is that? What do you mean, what is that? It's a college.
You're a disgusting man, Paul Reeves. This is a children's toy. This is a stress relief snowman.
See, look, mine is just a stress relief ball. Or this one. Or I've got my bag full of them here, too. Okay, stop trying to distract me, Leroy. What is this one?
All right, I think it's Lehigh.
Lehigh is your guess.
Yeah, that's my guess.
Is that your final answer?
Unfortunately. Oh my gosh! Let's go!
Are you cheating? You got your comments turned off, right? Because Forrest, of course, got that as well. The Lehigh Mountain Hawks.
I wanted to say Liberty, but they've got don't they have a red and blue logo?
You are correct in saying that. They do. Alrighty, let's cue the music again here. Leroy, 2 or 3?
Oh, we're feeling good. We'll go with 2. Wow.
I knew I was turning it way too soft on you, Leroy. Way too soft.
I like it. It's the purple aces, but it's orange.
Right? Because America, right? So this one, I'm going to tell you, I was nice to you. Recently, like it has to have been in the last year, they have changed their logo. This is the logo that I think most people would know as being theirs. So I could have given you their new logo. Because I'm a nice guy, I gave you their old one. Because it's the one that you would most likely recognize. Yeah, Liberty is the Flames, as Forrest says. Paul doesn't know what it is. If that helps you too, Leroy.
And I'll tell you what, I don't either.
You don't?
I don't. I will go with... I'll go with Sacramento State.
Sacramento State. Are you serious?
Yeah.
Got to be kidding me. No, I'm kidding. You're wrong.
Okay.
You're wrong.
I was going to say, there's no way.
Yeah, no, if you would have pulled that out. You have done that before, but Forrest correctly says that is Evansville.
Evansville, okay, cool.
The Evansville Purple Aces. Okay, Leroy, you're 1 for 2 in today's episode of the show, and there is number 3 for you, as you can see. Christy got it. I'm not sure if she said that after I said the answer, but look at Christy.
How did you
This is the final one.
Woman?
You've never heard of Evansville? Evansville is not far from me right now, Paul. In fact, it's a city that Leroy would drive through if he would come down this realm. Oh, that's how she knows.
Ah, okay.
You can't cheat, Christy. That takes away the fun in the game. So I had to do some work on this one, some Photoshop work, because if you're wondering why it looks a little weird in the middle, that's because it usually says what this is. So I had to do some Photoshop work and add some more purple there. Anything coming to mind for you?
No, I'll go with Fort Wayne.
Fort Wayne is incorrect. This is Forrest is not confident in his guess of Marquette. Is it Marquette, Leroy?
Ooh, is it? Ooh, Marquette. That's
sorry, Forrest. Forrest gets one of those though. The correct answer is Christy. Stop cheating. Tennessee Tech. Tennessee Tech is the correct answer.
I hate you so much right now, woman.
So Christy has gotten 2 out of 3 today. Leroy has only gotten 1. His wife, it might be Christy's logos now from here on out. The Tennessee Tech Golden Eagles.
Oh my
is
goodness.
today's answer of, she said, this is fun for the night. Yeah, Forrest says, and yeah, didn't know that one. Okay. Leroy, what is the theme?
Where is Lehigh located?
I think Forrest might be able to correct me on this, but I think it's in Virginia. I I can probably Google that, but I think it's in. Well, I guess this tells you that the theme is not location based.
Right.
Location based. If I don't know off the top of my head of.
All right. So we've got.
I'm pretty sure it's in Virginia.
So we've got Lehigh,
Pennsylvania. It's in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania.
Okay, so we got Lehigh, Tennessee Tech, and Evansville. Can you pull up the Evansville logo one more time? See, I was going to say they were all birds.
Nope.
But the Aces are not a bird.
These are a bunch of the guesses that are coming in.
Yeah, that's what I thought. But, that they all fly, right? They're all birds.
But that is not the theme. I'm gonna be a nice guy and tell you that is not the theme.
Wow. Oh, 90 seconds left. Northwestern leads by 2. Let's see.
Lehigh, Mountain Hawks, Evansville, and Tennessee Tech.
Huh. They're all schools in the southern part of their state.
No, Tennessee Tech is in northern Tennessee. It's in Cookville, halfway in between Nashville and Knoxville. No guesses?
I don't. What's the theme? What do you think? What do you think the theme is? What do you think? I thought it was flying things.
The Mountain Hawks, Purple Aces, Golden Eagles, all 2 words for their nickname.
Wow, John got it.
Did he really?
John got it right as you said it. Yeah.
Look at John go. Okay. It is all 2-word nicknames. So Leroy, 1 out of 4 this week. That brings your total to Trace 91.
Paul, you and I, like this, man.
Christy wins this week's episode of Leroy's Logos. I almost want to play the music that I've been saving, but I can't because technically she didn't get the theme and she didn't get the first logo either. You got Lehigh. But I guess you combined to get 3, right? And yeah. John, so I guess in John, you combine there to get 4 with it. How about a little play clock?
Let's do it.
Would you like to ask or answer first here on today's show where we ask each other questions? We have 40 seconds to answer it. We don't know what the question is. It can be about sports, not sports.
I will answer first.
This is one that I think we've talked about not on the pod before.
Okay.
Got the theme. Do you get the music? No, you don't get the music, John, because you didn't get all the answers right. You have to get all the answers right to get the music, and that's not happened before. How do you feel about Gus Johnson?
Indifferent. No, I think he does all right. I don't necessarily have an issue with him. I think sometimes he gets a little bit too excited, a little bit too animated, but for the most part, I don't mind the work that he does. I think when he gets good help, I think he's okay. But it's one of those things where I don't necessarily know if he could do it by himself. I think he needs that little bit of extra help to be able to get through what he does. Well, that's my thoughts. Yeah.
You got 5 seconds. Anything else you want to say?
I can do it better. No, I'm just kidding.
It's so loud. Turn it down. The older I get and the more broadcasting I do, the more I realize I'm not a fan.
Like I said, I'm going to sound arrogant, but I think I could do better than he could.
And that says something. Okay. No, I think it's just he tries too hard. That's my issue with it. You see what I'm saying by that? And I don't know. And I'm interested too in like Paul, John, if you all know who we're talking about for Gus Johnson. If not, you all recognize his voice. He's the guy that'll lose his mind. He's the Big Ten, like Big Noon Saturday. Is that what they call it?
Yeah.
He's the Big Ten's Chris Fowler.
He tends to be over the top, and like I think he thinks it's cool, but like nobody actually thinks it's cool.
I don't know. I know a lot of people love him, and that's why I asked the question. I'm ready.
Well, the fumble out of bounds rule popped up again this week as the Chiefs took on the Bills, and they're talking about they've got to do something and change it.
You definitely do know him too, Paul.
Yeah, Paul, I guarantee you know who he is. If I played this audio for him, you'd be like, oh, yeah, that's him. So I'm asking you, the football out of bounds rule, do you like it? And if you don't, how would you change it?
Pretty sure I asked you this question a couple of months ago too, so I think you're stealing my questions. I'm not sure how that necessarily makes me feel. So because of that, I'm going to filibuster for 10 seconds.
Listen, it popped up in the Chiefs bill. This brand new material.
There was another game that it popped up on. I remember it might have been like the first or second week of the season, and I think I wrote it down because I asked you the same thing. I don't know. Like I really don't know. Like I see both sides. I don't know. Like I can see why you want to change it, but then I also kind of like it because it does kind of make for some fun. Because where are you going to put the ball then? Like, are you going to bring it back to the 20? Like, I don't think there's a really good answer for it. But that's what I have to say. Why? Do you have strong feelings?
No.
Oh, you were looking at me like you were very mad at my answer, so I didn't know whether you had very strong feelings or something, and I didn't answer.
I was reading an article earlier, and they said the rule harkens back to a time when the rules were even more bizarre. Listen to this. At one point, a forward pass that fell incomplete in the end zone resulted in a touchback for the defense.
Oh.
Can you imagine?
It would only be running down there.
No one would throw it at all.
No. Yeah, no. I'm glad
unless your guy, unless it was a botched play and your guy was wide open, there would be no reason to throw it whatsoever.
Leroy.
Yeah.
If you were backed into a corner with no weapons, how many 7-year-olds could you take on in a fight before they would overpower you? With no weapons. So how many 7-year-olds could you fight before they would overpower you?
How many Kayleys could I beat up before I could survive? Let's see. I'm going to go with 8 to 10. But listen, they're
all your height, though.
I know. That's why I said that. I say that, but like the numbers would become too much very quickly, and I could handle things at the start before. Can you just swing the 7-year-old around? I don't know, man. I think it's one of those things where I could do about. I'm gonna go with 10. That's it. That's my number, 10, and then I'm done.
So what's interesting now is that I have it set up that tomorrow you're going to go to Kaylee's class and actually fight 10 7-year-olds, and we're going to see, because I don't think you could.
They're all taller than Kaylee. That's not fair.
I think that my money would be on the 7-year-olds.
100%.
They're probably in better shape, which helps. But yeah, how many Kaylees could you take?
All I need to do is turn on YouTube, and I'm good to go.
She's distracted.
Just turn on Roblox. I'm good to go. I don't got to worry about it at all.
If you use one weapon, I mean, it depends on the weapon.
You got to learn their weaknesses. You got to learn their weaknesses.
Like YouTube is a weapon. YouTube is a weapon. I feel like that would be a weapon in a different route, wouldn't it?
Yes.
Something like that. Okay. I'm ready.
You have been tasked to broadcast a sporting event that's not one of the big four. So not baseball, not football, not basketball, not soccer. And I say that, listen, you know how I feel. I feel hockey's one of the big four, but because it's you, I'm not going to throw it in there. You get soccer, because I know you've called soccer before. What sport would you feel the most comfortable with calling if you had to call a sport tonight and it wasn't one of the big four?
Let's say sport that I haven't called, because I've done volleyball. So volleyball's not in those top four.
You haven't called, yeah.
That I've not called. Golf.
Overtime.
Golf would probably be one, but because I think golf reminds me a lot of baseball, in the realm of where you get the opportunity to storytell a lot. You're telling the golfers stories as they're doing it, and then it also gives you the opportunity to rely on a really good color analyst, which is really good. Okay, he has 120 yards to the chip. What iron is he going to go with here? The wind's blowing 10 miles per hour in. How are you going through all of this? It breaks this way and so on. I think golf would be my answer.
Color analysts are extremely underrated. A good color analyst can absolutely make or break your broadcast, and it took me forever to realize that point. But
so
a good color broadcast, a good color commentator is everything.
I worked with a 18-year-old. No, he just turned 18, like last week. An 18-year-old during the college game over the weekend, and it was very interesting because I'd never worked with. Well, I guess I had worked with somebody that young because I've worked with Chase. Chase has been my color analyst probably when he was about that age. In baseball, like there are some sports where it's needed. Like in baseball, it really helps to have a color analyst.
Yeah.
In basketball, you can do a little bit more without it. Football, it helps a lot.
Hockey, you can do by yourself.
Yeah, probably because it's fast enough. It's all about the speed of the game. Paul says, "I'd love you to do with Leroy fighting somebody." That'd be fun. That'd be fun. That would be fun indeed. John says, "I feel like chess would be easy to call."
Yeah, but you got to know movesets. That hasn't been done since Kasparov back in 1998.
He's breaking out the Vulcan neck twist.
Yeah, he's pulling out the Kasparov defense or something like that. It's those guys can really go look it up on YouTube. Go look up.
Oh yeah,
broadcasting. It's
Joey Votto has become a big chess player, and he'll post a lot on social media. He's one of those. Every offseason, what he does is he has to master a new thing. Like that's just to like keep him like. And chess was his thing last offseason.
Did you see his comments on Maurer?
Yes, that was cool.
I thought that was pretty awesome.
And that's the one thing about Votto is it's like you can tell he really respects the game. The Nathan's hot dog contest, that would be fun.
I would love it. Oh my gosh, that would be fantastic.
How many?
All the Nathan's hot dogs.
How many could you eat?
14.
Bull.
14.
Bull.
Christy, how many hot dogs can I eat at once? How many does freaking what's his name eat? How many does Joey eat?
Like 70?
70, right? 70? What's Joey's record?
I think it's like 72 is Joey Chestnut's hot dog record. I think calling Leroy versus 10 7-year-olds would be fun. Yes, it definitely would be.
76. John. He ate 76 in 10 minutes. I could.
Yeah, you got to do the buns too.
Yeah, I could do.
Are you going to dip it? Are you going to dip it in the water?
Dip it in the water.
Christy, can we set this up for a future episode of the show that we can, like, you make 14 hot dogs? And
yeah, but they gotta be Nathan's. Those are longer and those are a little bit.
And I don't like them.
You ever had them?
Yes, I don't like them.
You don't like them? I like them.
No. Yeah, it's. Gosh, 14. Paul, do you think Leroy, Paul and John, back me up here. There's no shot that Leroy can eat 14. I'm almost willing to pay the $20 and. You don't have to watch it, Christy. I just need you to make the 14 hot dogs for him. That is true. That is true, John. It stopped being a children's show the day you scarred Paul Reeves' life.
Every episode.
When
every episode.
You put a hot dog on the screen.
It was a finger.
Okay. I don't know how many. Paul, are you saying that that's how many Leroy could eat or how many you could eat? Because honestly, I think on a good day, I could eat 6. 6 to 7.
Which really says how insane those guys are.
Oh, yeah, he's still taking counseling. Yeah, and they do it in 10, 15 minutes? Is it 10 or 15?
10 minutes. You have 10 minutes to eat as many hot dogs as you can. 10 minutes.
John says you would only eat 5.
Okay.
So you think you could eat 14 hot dogs in 10 minutes?
14.
We're setting this up. We're setting this up. I'm calling bull. No way. 14. No. There's just no way.
It's fine.
There's no way. 7 to 8 is what. Now I wouldn't. So Christy, we're saying that Leroy would have to eat 14 hot dogs in 10 minutes. He's
14 hot dogs in 10 minutes. I was in the Army.
I know you got a lot of experience.
Listen,
but
I can shove a lot of meat down my throat, okay?
The longer and meatier, the better, right? Yeah, I'll do play-by-play of it. I'll need a color analyst, or something. Mick's a big eater. Maybe I'll bring Mick in to be the color analyst for that day. Maybe we can get Joey. You know, Joey Chestnut is from.
Where's he from?
He has Indianapolis, or he's got some local connection. He's from. Yes, he was born in Kentucky. He was born in Fulton, Kentucky.
Yeah, see? So there you go.
So she says you could. Yeah, you better set it up on a weekend when you have no work. Not going to take care of you that day, says. Yeah, he was born in Fulton County, Kentucky.
You do take care of me? All the days you do take care of me, woman?
Okay, you know what? I'm going to mute you right now before you get yourself in trouble and have to sleep on the couch. Because that is... I'm trying to help you out. Before. We're going to do a special... You're unmuted now.
Oh, hi.
We're going to do a special edition, maybe like a Saturday night, one night.
Saturday from the Pressbox special report.
As if the people want it, we're going to do it. Yeah, Leroy scarfs down his 7th dog and chokes a little bit. We're getting off the rails. Are you okay for your drivers, or do you need to watch your game?
No, I'm good. We're up by 9 in overtime. I am good. Let's go. I have a coworker who's a big Illini fan. I am so happy when we beat them. Oh my goodness. Which okay, for those of you who don't know, we do a driver NASCAR, IndyCar, or F1. And this week, 2 of the 3 drivers have a theme. You'll have to tell me what the theme is for the 2 drivers.
So only 2 of them have a theme? Are you going to tell me which 2 have the theme?
I couldn't do anything with the 3rd one.
Are you going to tell me which 2 have the theme?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. I'm not that mean. I'm not that mean.
We'll do the one that's not themed first.
Okay.
So John's putting in his guess right now. It goes F1, Indy, NASCAR. That's his guess in the order that it goes in. Okay, I've turned the comments off, and okay, I'm ready.
Okay.
Oh, that NASCAR.
Yeah?
That's
you yes. Knew that right away.
Okay.
He's one of my favorite.
Is that Elliott Sadler?
No.
Or is that Boris Said?
Ah! Sam Gormley, you are on top of it today.
Boris Said. Yep.
Yes,
yep, I remember him.
Boris Said. Good road. I was watching a video today of NASCAR heated arguments, and he popped up on there, and I was like, oh.
He really wasn't, like, very good, was he?
No, he does road course. So back when NASCAR only did like 3 or 4 road courses, he would do the road courses. So like Sears Point,
never won a race,
which it was called back then, Sears Point, and then Watkins Glen. He would do both those.
Oh wait, okay, this is not he had 8 top 10s in his career. 8 top 10s in his career.
Okay, driver 2 or driver 3?
2. We'll just go in order.
There you go.
That is Wish.com, Dwayne The Rock Johnson.
See if Christy knows who he is.
He's an IndyCar driver.
Yeah, are you cheating?
No, I don't have any. I mean, it's full screen. He's an IndyCar driver.
No, you're good.
I can tell you that.
He is the IndyCar driver.
That guy looks really... Is that Tony Kanaan?
It is. You are on it. 2 for 2 today.
Look at that. Look at that.
Ready for driver number 3?
Wait, let me catch up on comments here.
Get the comments. Yep.
So I can close it off here. Look at Tony Kanaan there. Look
Dude,
at
I love his tattoos. He's got the whole
comments off. Full
500 bricks
screen.
there.
Okay, I'm ready
Driver
to go
3.
next here.
Driver 3.
Yeah, I don't know who that is. I don't know who that is. He's not he doesn't look like a NASCAR. He doesn't look like a NASCAR driver. He doesn't look like he's from America.
Okay.
Oh my, you're getting way too close to this man's face. I didn't need to see him that close.
They took a picture of our boys coach today, and like it was like super close up. Poor guy.
Formula One.
That your final answer?
Sure.
That is unbelievable because he has done both Indy and NASCAR.
So it is Juan Pablo Montoya, right?
Yeah, John got it right.
That's right. Now I'm looking. Now that I see that, well, so I was right that he's not American. He's like Brazilian or
correct.
That's right. It is. So what's the connection between Tony Kanaan,
these two, and Juan Pablo Montoya? Both gentlemen were inducted into the Indianapolis Motor Hall of Fame, into the Indianapolis Motorsports Hall of Fame this week. And I didn't expect you to know who. But yeah, both those guys were inducted into the Indianapolis Motorsports Hall of Fame, and very, very good honor for both of those guys. Both those guys had great careers. Juan Pablo Montoya won both the Indy 500 and was a very good NASCAR driver as well. So very good for him. And then, of course, Tony Kanaan is just a legend in the racing, not just IndyCar, but racing series. Everyone loves Tony Kanaan. So those are those guys right there. So good job today.
Look at us go there. Yes, that's right. Forgot about that. Daytona, wasn't it?
Yep. I think it was Daytona.
Blowing up a jet drying truck. That's right. I do remember that. That's when I actually watched NASCAR, when that happened. How about our pick contest for this week where, Leroy, we only have the opportunity to get 3 points because there's obviously not a whole lot going on. And it starts off with our high school game of the week. And, Leroy, I'll let you pick first. Grayson County on Friday evening. The Cougs host Edmonson County. On Friday evening, the big rivalry matchup comes to Las Vegas.
Oh, my goodness.
On Friday evening. I could tell you the records. It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter.
Both those teams could be
rivalry.
0-30 or 30-0, and it wouldn't matter.
It doesn't matter. Cougs and the Cats, Leroy.
You know me, man. Wait. Has my streak continued where the team I picked loses?
It ended last week because you did pick the Cougs, and the Cougs won.
That's
Paul's not picking the Cougs. He's picking Edmonson County.
And I'm going to help you out, Sam, by also picking Edmonson County.
Oh, my.
Wait. Where's the game at?
Las Vegas. It's in Grayson County. It's at the Cougar Den. Watch on K15 Digital Productions Friday evening, 6 Central.
I'm changing my pick. Final answer, Grayson.
Leroy's picking the Cougs on Friday evening. So you're locking it in? Deal or no deal?
I won't change my answer again.
Now, those two teams played in December, and the Cougs won. So, now, does that mean anything? Probably not. But this is one of these games that's impossible to pick. If you're Vegas, you're right. Like, you are picking the favorite, but it would be the game that I would never bet, if you get what I'm saying with that.
Yep.
Like, Leroy, what's our Taylorville game of the week?
Former Apollo Conference rival, now out of the conference, Lincoln Rail Splitters, who are 25-0, are taking on the Taylorville.
I'm taking them. Yeah, we've talked about this.
We talked about this game. I don't even need to tell you the rest of this. They've outscored their opponent. You guys got to hear this.
By like 1,200 points, right?
They outscored their opponents 1,794 to 745.
By 1,000.
They have outscored their opponents by, 1,050 points. It's insane how good they are. They got 2 girls that are going Division I, and they don't have any seniors on their team. Wow. It is insane how good they are. Their closest game came earlier this week. They played Peoria Notre Dame. They were down by 12, came back and won 63-52. That's been their closest game all season, if that tells you anything.
So what's interesting is I found a website. John's going with the upset. He's going with the stunner.
Dude, Taylorville. So Taylorville and Lincoln don't like each other. Lincoln performed like we were doing the fight song and they were still like taking like shooting practice. I'm telling you, the two schools don't like each other, and it's going to be Sam Gormley melee fest in that gym tomorrow night.
Listen, the last two times Grayson County and Edmonson County have played on the basketball court, a fan tried to fight the opposing coach, and then last time the coaches almost started fighting. So it's like this is I'm
so excited.
if you have nothing to do on Friday, search for K105 on YouTube. That game will start about 8:30 Eastern.
8:30, 7:30 Central.
Correct. I mean, literally, like you don't know what will happen, and it makes it very much entertaining.
If Taylorville can keep that game within 15, I'll be pretty psyched.
So I found a website, Massey Ratings, which is a computer-generated thing that allows for you to predict matchups, similar to what CalPreps does for football.
Yeah.
So I went in and I put in Grayson County girls against Taylorville girls, and who would be favored? Taylorville would be favored by 28. The boys, the Cougs, would be favored by 6.5.
Really?
Yes.
Our boys team. Ooh, our boys team.
And I find it very. I mean, listen, it does that mean anything?
It don't matter.
It's just I found it interesting. I was.
How cool is that?
I was playing around with it yesterday. Yeah, and you can do like projecting matchups.
Ooh, they do have Lincoln. Massey has Lincoln as their top team in Illinois.
Yeah, I bet. So you can do it before each day. They set Vegas lines on there, and you can see what the line is. And they might even have the line. When is that game that you're doing?
Tomorrow night.
So you can probably look on there that it has the matchups that you might be able to see what the spread is for that game already.
I'm pulling it up. I'm literally pulling it up as we talk.
So while we do that, Leroy, Ravens against the Chiefs. Who's your pick?
Ravens. It'll be close.
I got to play defensive now.
Lincoln has.
Yes, you can do cross state teams, Paul, because I did Taylorville and Grayson County, and they're not. I would be interested in Cooper, where I went against Taylorville girls. Cooper's like the number one team in Kentucky, so it'll be, or not the number one. They're like number 2.
They're expecting the final score to be 60-43 in favor of Lincoln. Which, if
17-point spread,
if that's the score, I'll be pretty excited about that.
So, Paul, if you Google Massey Ratings, then you'd be able to see and do all of these for Grayson County and Taylorville and so on. 49ers against the Lions. I'll make the first pick on this, and I'll take the Niners.
Yep.
Agreed?
I will go with the Lions.
You're going to – well, you almost have to try and keep your comeback going. Mick's picking the Ravens by 10+.
And listen. Leroy feels that it's going to be a Ravens 49ers Super Bowl. But I would love for the Lions to make the Super Bowl this year. I really, really would. Those guys deserve it.
Yeah, it would be 2021 Bengals.
Yeah. Let's go. Sorry. All better.
You okay?
Yep.
Feel better now?
I'm so excited. You can go.
I don't really know that there's anything else much to talk about, is there?
The Daytona Rolex 24 races this weekend. It's a 24-hour race, and they have all the different drivers that race in it and different teams. It's kind of funny because they got certain cars that have like 700 horsepower and other cars that have like 300 horsepower. So like you have some cars that like when you come around the corners, you're like, oh my gosh, she's like right there. So that race is taking place this week, and a lot of IndyCar and some NASCAR drivers are going to be competing in that race this weekend. So that's good. That's what's taking place. We talked a little bit earlier about all the hockey stuff going on. And then let's see what else. There was something else I wanted to bring up.
We're talking next week about the NHL All-Star Game and then
the
Pro Bowl.
We're going to talk about All-Star games next week.
I think it works kind of next week to loop those two together and talk about Pro Bowl, because I think the NFL Pro Bowl is a joke. And I think we have to talk about is it's even
so good too, man.
And I think it'll be a good discussion of are All-Star games just done? Like, can we fix them? I think it'll be a good discussion for us next week to have next week edition of From the Press Box. And I'll look forward to it. And any parting wishes, Leroy?
No. Just thank you so much for listening. The show went shorter than what I thought it was going to be, and pray for Taylorville to pick up a win because they would make huge headlines in the state if they could pick up a win against Lincoln. So,
and do I want to say pray for no fights in Grayson Edmondson?
And actually, you want to say that for both. You want to say that for both games that there are no fights. And Northwestern upset Illinois in overtime, 96-91.
Congratulations. Great way to end the show. We'll see you next week.
Thanks, guys.